players in. Obviously, that's been a thing. Where are you at with that?
Obviously, we've got Sonji Hansen in. So we've done 4 now. Really happy with the players that have come in. Rav has obviously moved on, and we wish Rav well. And we're still working really hard on bringing more in as well. I appreciate that everyone wants them here and now, and that's always the way. We said this last week, I do as well, but it doesn't work like that. And I think pretty much every club up and down the country will be feeling the same. Everyone wants them here and now. So I think we'll be in a good spot come the end of the window, but there'll be more arrivals in due course.
Forgive the pronunciation. You've been linked quite a bit with Sverre Nypan, or probably someone sounding like that. Where are you at with that?
I've never heard about that guy. Anyone else? No? Anyone help Stuart out with that one? Yeah. I don't like talking about other people's players, but he is someone we really admire. I really like him.
Any further on that?
No.
In terms of, you've been looking for a forward, that's quite well known. Where are you with that?
We're still working on stuff. I think there's a few areas that we want to try and strengthen the whole group. So we expect a few more recruits to come in, not just 1 or 2. I think we're still working on more numbers than that. Can't put an actual number on it, but there's still a few areas that we want to try and strengthen a little bit. But with 1 or 2 coming back from the treatment room, and again with Sonji coming into the group yesterday, we're already a little bit stronger in terms of the overall squad than we were last week. So that's a plus.
Final one from me. You're used to the Championship, but a lot of clubs are spending a lot of money this time. I mean, there's always been a few teams, but this season the top teams with money, not only the newly promoted team, Wrexham, Birmingham, teams like that. How do you find that, seeing the amount?
Yeah, it's shifted it. It's shifted things a little bit, but it doesn't mean the ones that spend the most are always right up there. I know there's probably a bit of a trend, but I've been part of a team that's bucked that trend before. But we're certainly not going to be the lowest spenders either, I don't think. So we're well backed. And we do things well here, so I think it's important that I say that as well. We'll be in a good spot in a few weeks' time. Thank you.
Rob, just obviously Doncaster game was so disappointing, but is it good in a way to get a performance like that early?
Well, you never want a performance like that. I think the scoreline was the scoreline, and it felt horrible towards the end, and I didn't like the way the game ended, but. There's still things that we can take from there, some of the young players' experience and things like that. But no, we want to focus on what we did really well against Swansea and then take some of that into Millwall, which will be a very difficult game. But it's always nice in football. You get the chance to redeem yourself and to put to build on a really positive start in the league.
First away game with travelling support in the league now. You've seen it at Rangers. Kind of how much our fans sort of turn out. How much are you looking forward to that?
Yeah, we want to be able to reward them. I know, heard all about the travelling support, seen it in pre-season as well. Our away support is incredible, and I'm sure it'll be a nice day down south. So everyone has a safe trip down, and we can reward them with a good performance. And it'd be great if we can bring 3 points away as well. We'll try and do our bit for them.
Just finding the transfers, is there any particular positions you could be targeting in the next couple of weeks?
No, I think there's a number. We're pretty clear on where we want to try and improve. Obviously Sonji coming in on another player on the top line, which is great. There's still a couple of areas that I don't really want to go into right now for obvious reasons, but we're strengthening nicely.
We spoke after the game on Tuesday, Rob, and the emotions were very high. Was there something that disappointed you most about that performance on Tuesday?
I just think clearly the result wasn't good, but I think there was the way we started and probably the way we ended. There was moments there of complete control, and we created a lot of good chances. The frustration was we weren't very ruthless in front of goal, but at the other end we weren't great either, and that's not a good recipe for football matches. I think the way we started and the way we finished I didn't really like. So and if you think back to Saturday, I think the way we started the game against Swansea was very good, and the way we finished with really good control and managed the game very well as well. So I would like to see that side of us tomorrow.
Yeah. And have the players reacted in the way that you wanted them to after the few days following that? Yeah,
they reacted well. I mean, we're so early on. We've got to be able to learn from things, of course, but you have to focus on what's next as well. and there's a big game coming on now, so our concentration and full thought then has to go, right, that is done, we can look at one or two things and nail that, but then we've got to think about what's coming next and not dwelling on it. As I say, Saturday we were high, and then you can enjoy that moment. You know, it was a real low on Tuesday. Now we've got to be level again, ready to attack this game.
Millwall, obviously very physical, very intensive team. How do you sort of address that balance between reacting to that and also your own game plan?
Yeah, you're right. It's a challenge. They're very good at what they do, but then it's not just all blood and thunder from them. There's really good players there as well. And like I said, Alex has got a team that I think he trusts with whoever he puts in. They're going to be able to deliver for him. But we've got to make sure that we do the basics, the fundamentals of football really well. The running, the duels, the making sure out of possession, we're relentlessly in the right positions to be able to compete. But then when we have the opportunities to play, we've got to try and play our way as well, and we've got to try and have control of the game in the ways we want to as well, which we did pretty well last week, I think. But yeah, it can become quite a difficult game, this, if you're not doing the basics well, if you're not in the right positions to land on first and second balls, if you're not defending set pieces well or long throws, or dealing with their running power, then it can become difficult. So that's been a big focus over the last couple of days for us.
Can you give us an update on any selection issues you may have ahead of the game on Saturday?
No issues. We've had a couple of lads returning to training, which sort of helps the overall squad, but too early for people to be starting. But and obviously with Sonji coming in, clearance dependent, then he could be available for us as well.
And we've talked about this, your relationship with the fans, and how important that was to you on Tuesday night. What's your message to the travelling fans who are going to come down to Millwall this weekend to give you one hell of a back? Yeah,
well, have a safe journey down, and we'll give it everything to try and build on the good start that we've had in the league. And as always, we want to try and reward them with a really good performance, and it'd be great if we could get the 3 points, but we know we'll be hearing them.
Thank you.
You've mentioned Sonji coming in there, Rob. Can I just ask you about him and what it was in particular that you liked about him to bring to the club?
Yeah, when I joined, he was someone that was flagged up to me quite early on by the recruitment team, and we liked what we saw. He's fast, he's direct, he can travel with the ball, so in 1v1 situations or counter-attack situations he can be very effective, but he can also operate inside the pitch in that number 10 sort of position as well, and be really reliable with the ball. He's a tricky customer, but he's quick and he's dynamic and direct, so he's got a real desire to play for Middlesbrough Football Club as well, and experience it here, which is always a good thing as well. So really looking forward to working with him.
I mean, you mentioned he came into the group for the first time yesterday. How's he been so far around the place? How's he settling?
Yeah, great. It's always daunting when you're coming into a new group, but he seems pretty relaxed and confident about it as well, and he's looking forward to getting going. So he's got a nice confidence about him.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he adds to your forward options, which is a boost. I mean, I don't know how much emphasis or focus you place on this, but the first two games, the XG so far has been quite low. I guess that would probably be an area of the kind of performances so far that you'd like to see improvement.
Yeah, well, Saturday, definitely I think it was for both. We obviously kept Swansea down very, very low. But we would have liked to be able to create more ourselves, certainly. We got into loads of good positions the other night against Doncaster, but didn't make enough of it. Even 1v1s that we had, we didn't make enough of it, so we need to be better there. But of course, we want to be able to keep that solidity and then be able to create good opportunities. So having good players on that top line and or more numbers and people who can do different things certainly helps.
Is that an important factor? I mean, you mentioned there, like wanting to have that balance, you still want that defensive solidity with the attack. I mean, is that variety of attacking players key to that, do you think?
Well, definitely. It gives us flexibility to play different ways, shapes, formations, styles. But yeah, you want to be able to keep it at one end and score the other, don't you? That's just that's football. So we did that well last week. In the end, we scored more goals than them and won the game. So we'll be looking to try and do the same. But we want to have a solid base. That's what I think successful teams are built on, certainly. But then we want to be able to attack and cause teams lots of problems going the other way as well.
On the injury front, you mentioned a couple of boys back in training. Is that Finn and
George?
And George back in training.
Yeah.
So they're kind of stepping up?
Yeah, they're stepping up. You know, George has been only the last couple of days, so he's been out a long time. But Finn's had a little bit more time. So I think we'll see where he's at. But what we don't want to do is take too many risks too early on as well, because they're key players.
Yeah. I know you mentioned Dara's kind of injury and length of time the other night, but where are Riley and Alex at currently?
Yeah, so they were a little bit longer. I mean, Riles, we said we wanted to make sure that when he comes back, he stays back. So we're just focused on that and building a resilience and a strength up, so that when he comes back, he's not in a similar position where he may break down again. Because obviously it's been frustrating for him as well, you know, because he absolutely puts everything into it. So we've got to make sure that when we get him back, we keep him right. And Bangsy, you know, his one was obviously a little bit more long term than the other guys anyway. It was that hamstring injury, so he's not back out in the grass yet. But Dara is progressing well.
Yeah, just last one from me. One Millwall player who Middlesbrough fans all know very well, Josh Coburn. He obviously left the club for Millwall this summer, but it was around about the time you were coming in. Did you have much to do with that? Did you have many conversations with Josh at all before the Millwall?
No, I didn't. I mean, look, it's an interesting one. That he showed a real desire that he wanted to go and play and go there. So, you know, we want people around then that want to play for us and for Middlesbrough Football Club as well, don't we? So I know he's come through here and people will have almost an attachment to him as well. But you know, once players have made it clear, then that's where their sort of head is at. I think it's the right thing then to do. So tomorrow and the other game aside, we obviously wish him well.
Just a couple more on Songshi, if you don't mind. But where does he fit into the team, or where do you envisage him fitting into the side?
He can play in wide positions. He can play in those 10s, and he could play central in a 10 as well. I probably don't see him so much as a 9. But I think if we were going to play the way we are, maybe at the moment with those two 10s, he fits into that. If we were going to flip things to 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1 as well, he can play certainly as one of the widies or as that number 10 withdrawn as well. So it gives us a lot of flexibility.
And fitness-wise, where is he at?
He's played some minutes, but he'd been ill as well the last few weeks. He's recovered now, but he hadn't done as much training over the last couple of weeks, so he's trained the last couple of days.
Just on Nypan, I know, again, apologies if I've messed that pronunciation up. Not him specifically, but having managed in the Premier League and the Championship, how important can Premier League loanees be for Championship clubs, top-end Championship?
It can be. It's got to be the right one. It's got to be right for both player and the club, and there's got to be a joined-up way of getting that as well, because it's got the player's mentality and has got to understand what he's doing and what, it's part of their journey. But I think we saw a good one here last year, didn't we? So we can all